Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Live here. We're here with another contest announcement, and in this video we're going to be looking at the shop branding contest, and I'm going to be going over all the rules and what the contest is about. So stay tuned and let's check it out. Alright, so this is the shop branding contest, everybody, and it's very specific to the branding. We'll do more contests in the future that are more generic shops and building contests that are more directed towards theming. This contest is going to be directed towards branding. So it says, Channel5 Gaming newest competition will feature shops and facilities. The aim of this contest is to make a single shop blueprint whose branding and designs are taken to the limit. We want to see clever and detailed use of branding integrated into the building based off the shops chosen within the blueprint. You can find creative uses of branding. So I'm going to give you guys in-game examples and show you and go over it in clear detail and give you guys some great examples. So in the text form, there's examples of Chief Beef could be a Burger King, or Missy Goods could be a Candyland. The chosen theme should be apparent and sell the idea of the shops within. Keep in mind, this is not a contest for shopping malls, nor generic buildings that can be used any shop. The shop you should choose should fit the branding and theme. You might see a soda shop inside of a burger restaurant, but you would not expect to see a Tiki Chiki or Hats Fantastic in a burger restaurant. Makes sense? In the end, the goal of the contest is to sell your shop. So there's gonna be another 1-week contest. It's gonna run from today, Thursday, June 6th, to Thursday, June 13th at 11:59 PST. Judging will probably take place on that Friday or Saturday, so it ends right for the weekend for us to judge. We will choose the top 3 winners of each category, probably do a top 5 again, guys. First place will receive a game from our Steam game prize list. There's a prize list that you guys can go check out, and then there's going to be a submission form that I'm going to link after. So if you guys check out this form in Discord, you'll see the submission form. And I have to be clear, guys, you have to use the submission form. In the last contest, you guys were submitting your rides as spotlights. They are different forms, so please use the submission form. It'll be pinned in both this rules page as well as in Discord by itself. Contest rules: only one submission per member. The upload date must be between July 6th and July 13th, but you have to start and end in the next week, guys. You can't go over 4K. It has to be a blueprint. Now here's the thing, guys, we're gonna let you use up to 5 shops within the blueprint. At first I was thinking 3, but then we'll go into it a little bit more into detail here, and I'll show you guys in game. But you can use up to 5 shops, but if you just use 1 shop, it's not gonna really change anything. So whether you have 1 shop or 2 shops or 5 shops, it's not gonna score you more or less points. So if you want to make the coolest burger shop in the world and it just has 1 burger shop in it, that's fine. If it sells 2 burgers, that's fine. If it sells drinks, fries, and burgers, that's fine. So and you can have a bathroom in there if you want. So you can make a little bit of like a restaurant, but we don't want you to make like a shopping mall that has 30 shops. So we're giving you that limitation. We don't want to see shopping malls or shopping strips or little western strips with all these different western buildings and just different shops scattered throughout. We want to see the branding focusing on the one building. And this includes no shop holes, guys. Don't use other people's blueprints. That's pretty self-explanatory. Don't redecorate old buildings from your workshop. Pretty self-explanatory. No coasters or rides. So we're not making a ride skiing contest. We're not doing a coaster blueprint contest. It's a shop contest. So if we see rides, we see coasters, we will be DQing. You know, we don't want to see rides and coasters. Just shops. Exception, you may use pieces of tracks like a river rapids or something. So no fireworks, no billboards. Obviously the fireworks is pretty self-explanatory because we want, you know, there's nothing to trigger those fireworks. We don't want sequencers of, this isn't a firework competition, it's a shop competition. No billboards, and the reason for this is they're currently breaking the game, they're causing problems, and we don't want you to make a McDonald's and go download a McDonald's logo. We don't want you to make a, Krusty Burger from Simpsons and just go download a picture of Krusty Burger. We want to see you guys push your art. Billboards is a great way of cheating and just going, well, I don't have to do the work, I'm just going to put a picture on this. And to top it off, if we have 150 submissions, that means we have to download 150 images and put it in all of the judges folders, and that's just, it's a lot of extra work for us. So if you guys want to make an awesome sign, we want to see you make an awesome sign. We want to see you download an image. So there you go. Judges may not participate in the contest as always. So for the judging, I'm going to talk about the judging really quick here, and I'll go more into detail in game. So the artistry is 5 points. It's the level of detail and how much effort you put into it, and how skilled it is, and how much artistry you put into it. The branding and theming is also a big 5 points. So So these are like the biggest things you have here. Branding is how well do you sell the brand of your shop? Does the brand fit into the shop? So is a Cosmic Cow is a dairy farm, or a Western Chief Beef is a slaughterhouse, or you make a Gulpy power plant, or, you know, there's so many things, an Italian pizza parlor, or what have you. So there's a tons of things that like make it really sell your branding. Is it an apothecary for just a memento? Maybe a water filtration system that sells Pip Shop on one side and has bathrooms on the other. So they felt, you know, there's all sorts of crazy ideas you guys can do with your branding and themes, and that's what we're judging. And then we're judging the amount of detail gone into this. Building design, it's we should probably reword this, but it's building complexity essentially. So how complex is your building? If you just decorate a box, guys, you're probably going to get a 0. Well, and I'll show you guys examples of this in game. But if it's a nice little restaurant or something, you're probably going to get 3 points. You know, if you make a Gulpy power plant, you're probably going to get 3 points. So you know, we want to see, did you decorate a box or did you make something? And then obviously all of this ties into that building design. So you could still make a very small design and still nail all these things and possibly win. So, you know, it's only 3 points, but it's amongst 3 judges, so it's a total of 9 points. Your signage and labeling. So if you made a custom sign, and we'll show you guys the difference between custom signs in a second. And then lighting, we're actually going to judge lighting this time. So 0, no lighting, it's 0. A little bit of lighting, it's 1. Really great lighting, it's a 2. And then if you do terrible pathing, you essentially lose a point. That's 3 points across all judges. So it should either be easy to path or not easy to path. And there you go. So I'm going to jump into game and show you guys some examples of the contest. So I'm kind of like the shop master, I guess. I've done a ton of different shops throughout my time of playing Planet Coaster, and a lot of them are representation of what this contest is. It's all about the branding and theming. So this, for example, is Planet Gulpy. It's like a 7-Eleven. And, you know, there's it's a solar system here for the plants. There's planets revolving around it. It sells the idea that it's a planet place. And the Gulpies, it's all here. I've made these things out of custom shapes. You know, it's a Slurpee. We got an energy drink custom made. But they also sell coffees and donuts here. Because it's a 7-Eleven, you can usually get coffee and donuts. And it does make sense that you can get hot dogs at a 7-Eleven. Now, if I were to do this for the contest, I'd probably tighten things up a little bit. I'd probably change this little hot dog to a donut, go inside, and I would change the hot dog squad to a Missy Goods. Try and keep it consistent on the shops that I'm using. Now, you know, this is a 7-Eleven. The focal point is the Gulpy, and I have these as the focal point. There's Gulpy signs and stuff like that. The one thing it could probably use is a Gulpy statue, but, you know, there's Gulpy brewing vats in the back, and, you know, the accessories, the tertiary accessories are the donuts and the coffee, and, you know, they are in here, but generally everything is pretty well themed. I think I could focus a little bit better though for this contest, and another good example of focusing better would be my Missy Goods shop. So this is just donuts with you know, obviously if you're getting donuts, you probably want to get a coffee as well. It's kind of, the building design is kind of like a Tim Hortons, and, you know, it's a kind of a modern building design, but it has a big, you know, focal point, which is the Missy Goods. I made a custom statue for that. And, you know, the little tertiary details, just like cookie plants and stuff like that. So lots of goodies. And then if we go inside, you know, I definitely could have decorated it a little bit better on the inside, but it's meant for pathing and benches to be put in and that stuff. So there's just coffee and donuts, and that's all they sell. And, you know, I said there should be a limit of 5 shops, and this is what I was saying before, guys. I originally had it as 3 shops only, so I could have had coffee, donut, and a bathroom. And if I were to compete in this contest with this building, I would just take a bathroom out, and there you go, you have 5 shops. So within reason, 5 shops, guys. It makes sense that this could have been 3. I could have added double, but sometimes these shops get too busy and they're like, I'll go somewhere else. Well, they can go here now. So it's okay to have more of the same, but you could tell that this is a place that you get coffee and donuts. So it makes sense. And in terms of my signage, guys, I've put effort into making these like a little bit custom. There are 2 different signs combined together. There's a custom sign here, but everywhere we go, we can tell this is Missy Goods and it's calling us in. And there's also little bits of Street Fox. Now, so I could probably get a 2 out of 3 on the branding or the signage in terms of scoring. The one thing that would have taken it over the top is maybe if I put like custom donuts in the background that I made out of basic shapes, and, you know, maybe little candies and stuff, like really decorate that sign and push it. But losing a little point on the signage isn't hurting too bad. And if I were to like remove these signs on the side and I would have removed this big billboard, and all we saw was this Missy Goods sign, it probably just gets a 1. So that's kind of the difference between, and if there was no sign at all, it gets a 0. So it's kind of the difference between a 1, 2, and a 3. Is the 3 is really about like pushing that custom sign to the limit. Same with this sign. This sign's probably a 1. It doesn't really have anything else, but none of my shops really have the craziest custom signs, so I definitely wouldn't score high there. But the people that do go over the extra mile to make custom signs are going to score on the signage part. But the focus of this contest is the artistry and the branding. So if we're looking at the artistry here, it's pretty good. There's a lot of detail gone into it. Every square inch, I've got custom strips, and things are colored nicely. The building design's good, and then the theming, you can tell that it's Missy Goods. And there's goodies everywhere. So this is a really good example of the contest. The building complexity, it's big, it has lots of detail, it's got different heights and elevation. It's not small, it's not too big. And if you guys make like a huge ginormous castle and there's just a little coffee shop in the middle, you might even lose points for building design because it doesn't make sense to go that big. So we're looking for building design that makes sense, no more no less, just our right amount. So there you go. And at nighttime, it's really well lit. It matches it. It's got that love Valentine's feel kind of thing going on. And there you go. So a little bit of red and white. And pathing's really easy to set up on this one. If I were to set up new pathings, you just select the grid for this. You select a shop, and then you just fill it in. You fill the whole shop in, and then you come outside and you fill the outside in. Super easy to do the pathing on this. You're not making people go upstairs or wind anything around. It's just fill it in. All built to the grid. Super easy pathing. So this is actually a really good representation of the branding, shop branding contest. And I'm going to show you guys some more good and bad examples. So this Gulpy T-Rex, it's a pretty good one. In terms of artistry, it looks like a T-Rex, right? It doesn't look like a fugly T-Rex. It makes the shape, the silhouette, it feels like a good T-Rex. Now Gulpy is a T-Rex, so it makes sense that it's a giant sci-fi T-Rex. You could have an argument to say that the building complexity may not be there because it's just a little guard stand. But there's effort gone into this guard stand. And Lauren made the argument that she feels like this whole thing is one big building. I've kind of put it in between his legs and integrated it well, and it fits. So Lauren was saying that she would give this a 3 in building design, and I was saying I would give it probably a 2 because it's not just a decorated box. It is a tower, and it is kind of separate from the rest of the decorations, but it is cohesive. So there's an argument to be said there. But the artistry of the T-Rex is good. The branding of Gulpy is good. Now the only thing that really lacks is the sign. I definitely could have made a custom sign. Since then, I'll give you guys a good example of a 3 out of 3 sign. I built these by custom. So, all made out of custom shapes. So, if I would have gone through the effort to put this in between his hands, that probably would have scored me a 3. But instead, I'm getting a 1 just because I have a sign there that says Gulpy. So there you go. He's holding a Gulpy sign. And lighting's good at night. Pathing's easy to set up. You just have a path running out here, So this is also a really good example of like pushing that theme. It's Gulpy. It's a gigantic Gulpy. And this is also a neat example. Like, this is what I do when I do my shops and facility, guys. I think about the branding. So that's why a lot of my examples work. But this is giant Halo helmet. So it's for sci-fi parks. It makes sense to have this helmet as your hat's fantastic. So it's just a giant helmet. And that's a good example. The artistry is a little it's not the best work I've ever done. It's not terrible. The theming is there though. It's a helmet, maybe not the best. So it probably wouldn't score the highest, but it hits the spirit of the contest. This bathroom, Toxic Relief, it's essentially a toxic dump, a sci-fi toxic dump. And I could even go as further to have like a little bit of a filtration system and a pip shop at the back so that they're cleaning the poop and turning it into water. And so I could have actually pushed that a little bit further if I wanted to, but it still hits the spirit of the contest. Some more good examples, like you guys, in terms of building complexity, you don't have to have the shops, like you don't have to make interiors. It's not necessary to get building complexity. The complexity of this building is definitely a 3 out of 3, and the shops are just put on the outside. But in terms of branding and theme, it looks like a burger grill. It's an industrial burger facility. You know, they have all sorts of stuff to power the place and to burn things, and they have a grill built in. They have a chief beef. You could tell this is a gigantic chief beef industrial like complex, and they've got things to put buns and burgers together, and they got mustard and ketchup pumps going into the building, and it's mass production burgers. We have mustard pumps going into little mustard tanks, and it's really just like it's the Costco of burgers. So it works. You know, nighttime lighting's good as well. So this one really works for the spirit of the contest as well, but it's also very generic. It's just chief beef, and it doesn't really push things or do things like next generation. And I'll give you guys a few examples. Like over here, I put this down, and this is really clever because it's Simpsons themed. And it's not necessarily chief beef themed. It's Krusty Burger. The one thing that disappoints me about this is it says chief beef. I would have loved to see a custom sign that said Krusty Burger. And then the next disappointing thing is it's literally just a wall. There's no shop here. So it's really just a decorative wall. Now, if you would have combined this with this, so maybe instead of this chief beef sign, it's the Krusty face instead. And, you have Homer on the side here, and it says Krusty Burger on the front. And you built all that into this really cool restaurant, and then you go inside and they're selling Krusty Burgers, and it's a neat little restaurant. The combination of the two of those would be really awesome. So it has this unique theme, and it doesn't have to be chief beef. That's my point. It could be Krusty Burger, it could be Whitespot, it could be McDonald's, and it makes sense that they're selling burgers inside. So we can pretend for a second that chief beef is just generally burgers. You know, Cosmic Cow can be general milkshakes. Mexcalente can be anything like taco related or Mexican food. You can take a twist and put it on however you want. However, this is a really cool chief beef restaurant, so this is another thing within spirit of the contest. I could tell that they're going to sell burgers inside, and when I go inside, they sell fries and milkshakes. They're not advertising fries and milkshakes outside, but I get that most burger places like Burger King is going to have fries and something for me to drink, so it makes sense. Another really good one, if we go into micro scale of the spirit of the contest, is this ice cream truck. Now, building complexity out of 3 points, it probably gets a 1 because it's not the most complex building. However, it gets a 5 out of 5 for artistry. It gets a 5 out of 5 for building and theme. This is an ice cream truck. I get that they're building ice cream. The sign is beautiful. It's a popsicle. They've decorated the sign, taken it to the next level. There's little bits of detail on the outside as well with the umbrellas, and I think it's easy to set up. So the only thing, the downfall of this is its building design. It's a 1 out of 3, but it could still possibly win the contest if other people, just out of its simplicity, and it's so well constructed. So don't hesitate to try things like that. It still fits in this spirit of the contest. This works. This is my hot dog van, but I'd say the ice cream van is way better. This one just kind of looks a little ugly, but it's a van. It may not look as realistic as the other one does. It's kind of a sci-fi van, so maybe that's why. But it still fits the spirit of the contest, and it just probably scores less on artistry and stuff like that. So I have a lot of really great examples here. This is a bank, and this is where it's all the ATMs are. But, and there's a vault in here. And it's a great way to theme your ATMs and your customer service for your information booth. It's sci-fi, it's got turrets, it's a gigantic bank. So there you go, that's a great shops and facilities for information booth / ATM. So in spirit of the contest, it works. Milkshake parlor, they make their own milkshakes. There's vats, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. It looks like they're brewing the milk and churning the milk themselves. Has all the different flavors, banana, strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. It has a Cosmic Cow statue, milkshakes inside. It feels like a little parlor. Has all the spirit of a milkshake parlor, and that's the spirit of the contest that we're looking for. The little coffee shop, little garden, this works as well. May not be the best, but it does work. And the med bay, it's a hospital. That works in terms of the spirit of the contest for a medical bay. So that's a really good example. So this is Tiki Chiki Mexcalente Grow Up. They grow all the vegetables and then they sell things. Now this one may not nail it as well. Definitely think like a chicken, or there's tacos. There's different ways you could integrate this to make it better. It still works for the spirit of the contest. I just feel like it's lacking in its branding. This does help the branding because they're growing the food, but I still feel like there could be like chickens or something, like maybe a chicken farm attached to it or something like that, and different things. This is also really good. It's a rocket fueled by coffee. It's caffeine powered rocket, so really, you know, that's very clever. And they sell coffee at the bottom here, and there's jets and stuff like that. Super easy to set up. So it's a Street Fox rocket ship, Foxy rocket ship. So all these are really good examples. The fries probably not as good. You know, it has custom fries, it has ketchup pumps, but that's about it. This is a very good example of my milkshake parlor that we looked over here. It's just a little less in the artistry. This has more artistry and theming because it has the cow and it has all that. This is less effort. Same thing, less effort. So it's just going to score lower. Still nails it in the spirit of the contest though. So giving you guys some ideas and what to think about. Now, while these may all be sci-fi themed, guys, there's some great ideas that you can go with Western and fantasy. So I'll talk about those ideas now. Now, these are what we're not looking for. This is something I downloaded off the workshop. It's just a generic saloon. There's no signs out front. I guess it says drinks and it says rooms, and then you go on in and it's like, it's milkshakes and burgers, I believe. It's coffee. So for me, you know, I didn't really get the sense that this was a coffee shop. I didn't really get the sense that it was a Chief Beef's shop. I get that it's a saloon, but I'm like, it's just a generic Western building to me. So what you could do to turn this into, like, if you wanted a Western building that was like screamed Chief Beef, you could have a slaughterhouse on the side. And there's literally cows in a barn, and it says Chief Beef Slaughterhouse, and then like there's signage and different stuff saying we sell, you know, you could even change it like Buffalo Burgers. It doesn't have to be Chief Beef, but it says Buffalo Burger Saloon, and then there's a slaughterhouse to the side, and it's all Western themed. Like, that's how you take it to the next level. If it's just a bar, I mean, I was even thinking like you could go steampunk. If it's gulpies inside and you're selling drinks, you could have like a steampunk vats and different things, and like a lightning rod, and it's literally there to get hit by lightning, so it sends the energy into these churning vats, and then it powers up the energy drinks, and that's how the energy gets into the drinks. And then when you go inside, you know, there's some different gulpy theming things in here, and steampunk. So there are ways to push the Western into it. You know, you could have a Tiki Chiki that is like a little chicken coop, and there's chickens in the back and stuff. We've seen Red Dragon make chickens in his farm, and you know, and they inside they sell Mexilente stuff, or Tiki Chiki, sorry, it would be Tiki Chiki. Or, you know, it could be a little farm and they're selling vegetables, and inside it's a Mexilente. So there's tons of options there for you guys, and I want you to think about the branding. And same thing could be said with fantasy. You could make, like, this is just very generic. We don't want this, like, what is this? Is this, it's Cosmic Cows, Chief Beef, it's fries. To me, it's fantasy generic building A. This is fantasy generic building B. C and D. Like, they're not anything special. I could pull this sign out and I could pull Tiki Chiki out, put Chief Beef in, and no one would notice a difference. This building does not scream to me Tiki Chiki. I guess it says hot hen house. They tried, but why is there no hen shop? Like, there should be a little hen pen, you know, there's pens around the side. So there are ways to make these things accentuated and nail your branding. Even with the fantasy, you could do like a little, this could have been like a little castle or whatever, and then there's fountains and waterfalls and gardens and a little river rapids going through with bridges going across, and you see all this water, and it's a Pip Shop magic garden or something like that. I don't know. You could do an apothecary, and there's cauldrons out front and bubbling things, and it's spooky, and inside it's there's maybe a big witch hat, and inside they sell Hats Fantastic and Gulpy Energy, because I don't know, that's where they get their magic from, their buzz, or just a memento in hats, and like they sell trinkets and baubles and goodies like that. But it needs to scream that on the outside. It says apothecary, and I can tell that there's trinkets and goodies when I go inside, and when I get inside I see just a memento and I go, oh, it tells a story. So I want you guys to think of ways to mix these ideas together and see what you can come up with. So you could do coffee and donuts if you want, or you could just make a Candyland, and they sell Missy Goods there, and it says Candyland, get your goodies here, and stuff like that. You know, you could do a Gulpy nuclear power plant, and they make Gulpy nuclear power, and you go inside and they sell all 3 different kinds of Gulpies. You could do a Pip Shop water park. You can, I'll let you guys think about it, but you know, go into the shops and facilities, sit there and go, what makes Cosmic Cow Cosmic Cow? Maybe I could have a dairy farm, or for fantasy, or for Western. Maybe I could have Cosmic Cow. Maybe I'll do something cosmic, planetary, and there's space cows and stuff like that. You know, think about the things, like be clever with it. First aid, like there's, you know, that's a little bit boring and harder to do, but I'm sure you guys can do, you know, something, a vomit comet. I don't know what else is there. Gulpy, there's tons of ideas for Gulpy. T-Rexes, you know, Jurassic Park. It's sci-fi. There's anything related to energy, slushies, and sodas. You know, it doesn't have to be Gulpy. Remember, you can use soda. It could be a Pepsi factory. It could be a Coca-Cola shop. And if you guys want to theme it Coca-Cola and we go inside and there's Gulpy soda, boom, nailed it. And you don't have to use 5 shops. You can just use 1 shop. How you use your shops is your strategy. So, you know, a lot of these things, just go through there and think about these things and how you can decorate them. And the spirit of the contest is about the branding. I had another good example down here. Okay, I thought this was really cool. It screams Italy. It's Italian pizza. I mean, you know, it has all the colors of Pizza Pen and Italy and stuff like that. So, you know, it feels like an Italian pizza place. So, and there's a custom sign, Pizza Pen, and this was before Pizza Pen had its own sign, but that's better than the Pizza Pen sign in my opinion. And then there's this. Okay, this is not going to get in building complexity. It gets a 0. They literally just decorated the shop, but there's a lot of artistry gone in here, and it's really quaint. So it still hits the spirit of the contest. It's just very small. But now this also hits the spirit of the contest, but it may be missing something, like a hero piece. Well, look at this. I just was looking at these. You mix the 2 of these together. Look at that. Now that really hits it home for me. This is the spirit of the contest when you mix the 2 of these together. This beautiful custom artistry sign here with the guy and the pizza, and then this beautiful design pizza parlor down below. Screams Italy, it screams everything, and it screams pizza. And I look at that and I go, it's a pizza place. Doesn't have to be Pizza Pen. It can be Frank's Pizza. So it's still in the spirit of the contest. So, you know, it could be Ninja Turtles, and you could do something with, like, the Ninja Turtles stuff, and you could have the Ninja Turtles pizza van or whatever. You know, there's tons of things you guys can do. Like, I'm pulling general ideas out of the hat, and I think you guys can come up with way more creative ideas than me. I just gave you some fundamental starting ideas, and you can also mix the shops together. If it makes sense for you to have hats, fantastic, and energy drink, and you can tell me that it's the most energetic hat store in the world, then, and you can sell me on that, that's cool. If you can somehow mix together soda and restrooms and make it work, that's selling me. But the moment you guys go, all right, we're selling milkshakes and tacos, and there's a cow, a taco, or there's ice cream and tacos, I'm gonna go, what? You guys will lose points if you just make shopping strips, is what I'm getting at. Like, if you just sell everything under the sun here and the branding is generalized across the whole thing, that's not gonna win you the contest. We wanna be like, it's pizza! That's your thing. It's burgers! That's your thing. It's crusty burgers! Like, you know, sell me on your theme. And, you know, Quickie Marts are kind of a generalization, but I took the theme and made it Gulpy Quickie Mart. So what do you do with it, right? It's up to you guys. So anyways, that's a lot of information for you guys to go on, but I wanted to be clear on things so that you guys get a really good understanding of what we're looking for, how we're scoring it, what's going to do better than other things, and I think I gave you guys a ton of ideas to go off of as well. And, you know, don't be afraid to try Western, fantasy, or whatever. I did give you guys a lot of sci-fi examples, but I gave you some miscellaneous theme examples as well, modern examples, and I gave you some ideas for what I would look for with a Western or fantasy as well. So tons for you guys to think about there, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with in the next week. So have fun with the contest, everybody. And if you want to join the contest, all you got to do is become a Discord member. Links to that will be down in the description below. Add me as a friend and send me a link. And before we go, these are really good examples of spirit of the contest too. Little burger shops like this, made out of burger. Little coffee shop. It's a little Caribbean theme. Might not score the highest, but still in spirit of the contest. So there you go, guys. Lots for you to think about there, and just come up with your most creative branding shop. And in the future, we'll do some more generic style buildings so you guys can practice making things that look like this. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait to see what you guys create in this contest. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.